My girlfriend and I are going back to Denmark. She's visiting her parents, and we're looking forward to a lot of things. I'm looking forward to being in Denmark. My senses are looking forward to being in Denmark. My eyes to look around at all the beautiful sights and the coastline. And my nose is happy about the coastline too, breathing in that fresh sea air. But of all my senses that are looking forward, my taste buds are ecstatic about going back to Denmark. Now, I've already said what meals I'm hoping to have, but Denmark also has a number of culinary items that aren't exactly centerpieces to a meal. They're things that you might have as a snack or something on the go, or in fact part of a meal. So there's a lot of things I am looking forward to. As my grandmother would say, oh God, that's wonderful. And the thing that I'm probably at the top of my list of these sort of not quite meal-like food items is a Danish hot dog. Look at that Danish hot dog. And when I tell my American friends that if you go to Denmark, you have to have a Danish hot dog, they're a little incredulous because they think, oh, well, the hot dog, it's an American invention, said to have been invented at the Polo Grounds in 1900-something or other. And that may well be true. But like all things, the Danes take something that is not their own, and they make it their own, and they make it into something that is so much better. These hot dogs, not only is the meat good, but they put the condiments on it. And in fact, Danes love hot dogs so much that when they go away and they come back at the airport, and they will go to a hot dog stand just to celebrate the fact that they're back in Denmark and can have one of these great hot dogs. Behind me is the local butcher shop. I like to go to Danish butcher shops because they're still real butcher shops. He serves great meats, and he also has prepared foods, and you can have a smørrebrød like my girlfriend's father gave us. But he brings all these flavors together. And so if you're hungry and you kind of go, I don't know what to eat, you will go into a Danish butcher shop and you will be inspired. Something will grab you. Another thing I'm looking forward to is the Danish milk products. Now, I thought milk was just milk. Maybe they had a buttermilk, maybe they had a cream, but Denmark has taken dairy and milk products and they have found very interesting little variations on just plain milk. I mean, yes, they have milk, and then they have heavier milk. And they also have this A38, which fascinated me. You would have such a specific kind of milk. And of all these milk products, they have one of my favorite things that I've had when I'm over there in the summer is the Coldbowl. Or, as my girlfriend says, translated, Coldbowl. And I thought, well, it's just like this milk. And I thought, I'm going to have milk in a bowl and eat it with a spoon and have these little cookies. And little cookies are good. But she takes these little cookies and she puts them in the Coldbowl. I mean, yes, I guess you can call it milk, but it's more than milk. It's delicious. And that's just not the end of it. I am also looking forward to going to Danish bakeries like Ole Steen. Now, I have an Ole Steen in New York, which I am there right now. All right, behind me is the New York branch of Ole Steen Lagenhuset, and I am here. And the thing about it is, they have good cakes. But I think, because when I went to the Ole Steen or Lagerhuset in Copenhagen, they had more stuff in Denmark. So you're getting a watered down version of them. Yes, I know they're holding out. And part of the reason is that they're trying to appeal to an average American audience. So they're not going to try their more specialty things because Americans are kind of suspicious and they go, what is that? Oh, I don't know. It doesn't look so good. Or it tastes funny. It tastes, probably tastes Danish. Then go to Glace. It is a confectionery, bakery, patisserie, I don't know what you call it, but I call it just good baked goods. And they've been around since 1870. And you can get great desserts. I'm so tongue-tied. My tongue is already thinking, wanting to eat, and it's forgotten that it also has to talk because the tongue has multiple functions. They have wonderful pastries and concoctions, and here's just a few. And that's right, the first one I had when I was there was the Carl Nielsen. And I was so amazed by it that I looked up, who is Carl Nielsen? Well, apparently Carl Nielsen is a great composer from the 19th century, early 1800s, and has these delightful tunes. And you'll hear one at the end credits. This is my type of way of saying, watch to the end, and then you will hear with your ear, as opposed to taste with your tongue, the Carl Nielsen. I didn't know Carl Nielsen could be so operative on all my senses. Another great taste in Denmark is their cracklings. And the cracklings in Denmark are head and shoulders above any cracklings I have gotten. And I've been to a butcher in Philadelphia. Actually, not so much a butcher, more of a meat market. And they will give you some cracklings. And my girlfriend, she liked them, but she said, they're not quite as good as Denmark, and I don't blame her. I tried them myself. And we got some at a restaurant, a bowl of cracklings. Look at that. They just look delicious. And you can't eat the whole bowl. That would be difficult. So we packed it away, and we brought it to her father, and her father had one, and it was delicious. And then we came back in a day or so after doing stuff in the SS. He says, well, do you have any of those cracklings? And he looked rather sheepishly. He said, oh, you can't leave those things with me by myself. It's just not fair. But he had a good time eating them, and that is for darn sure. And it's those subtle things about the Denmark food that is makes them so exquisite. For example, they've got really good butter. Lurpak, which I think is their national brand. They probably have other brands, but Lurpak is the one that I associate with Danish butter, and it's the one that my girlfriend says that expats in the United States are constantly trying to find Lurpak butter. And there have been times when they're exchanging things on the Facebook page about where can we find Lurpak butter? We can't get it. And if they get it, they complain that it costs more than it costs in Denmark. Of course it costs more than it costs in Denmark because they have to import it. And it's a kind of a luxury item. And if you want really good butter in the United States, because the United States doesn't really have good butter, it's kind of weak, and it doesn't have enough buttercream in it. Just take a look at a comparison picture of Lurpak butter on the right and American butter on the left. The Lurpak butter jumps out. Even my eyes can tell that my taste buds will like Lurpak butter more. Now you say to yourself, oh, well, it's just butter. No, it's not just butter. It's butter. Butter is one of those ingredients that you use in virtually anything. Someone commented on one of my videos that the secret to Danish cooking is butter. Fry it in butter. And so if you want something really good, fry it in good butter. And I'll tell you, it just makes a difference. A piece of toast with really good butter is exceptional. Not just something that you put on so that you have something to put your eggs and bacon on. And I'm looking forward to being surprised by some food item. Every time we've gone, my girlfriend has surprised me something. One time, she took me to the restaurant Rio Bravo in Copenhagen, which was fantastic. It was like being in an old Western movie. Why? Because it was inspired by an old Western movie, Rio Bravo, that starred John Wayne. Yeah, so I'm in the Rio Bravo restaurant in Copenhagen, and it is a pastiche, an honor to the movie Rio Bravo. Not the river, but the movie. But the movie may have been in honor of the river. In addition, they have places like the House of Grain, or Kornhuset, which is up in northern Jutland, which is probably a stretch for most people who go to Denmark. But here is a guy who is so fascinated with ancient grain that he didn't just make a documentary or write a book or something. He made an institution to celebrate ancient grain. The Kornhuset, and they've got all sorts of grains, and you can eat them, and they serve a delicious lunch. And they always sneak in some sort of grain in the thing, and they're locally sourced, and it was delicious. And that's the thing, because I hope to be surprised. I don't know what it will be, but you know, you can be flexible in Denmark, because you'll be surprised. And also, you can get things to eat on the run. For example, we went to her father's house last year, and it was in between lunch and dinner. We needed a snack, so off we went to the supermarket, and we bought some crisps and some cheese and these fantastic peas that I had never seen before. They're peas that look like a blimp, and then they come out and they're just delicious. My girlfriend insists on having those every time we go to Denmark. And this is all in a supermarket, so it's not like you have to run around to a gourmet store. And I'll tell you something, you have to go to the supermarket. In the supermarket, not only can you pick up these delicious snacks that you can tide yourself over with, that are pretty healthy, not too healthy. I mean, you don't always want to be a saint when it comes to your appetite. In addition to getting those snacks, you also get a chance to explore Danish food and the type of stuff Danish people eat. And they're always something that will surprise you. Last summer, I found out about all these milk products. And I got to try some of these milk products. And I thought, wow, this is delicious. My taste buds have been missing Coldbowl or Coldbowl for my entire life. I don't plan to miss it anymore. And then they also have their various, like the peas that my girlfriend insists on getting every year. And then you get to see it because it's like going to a museum, a library, a hall of fame, a museum, I said museum, of food. And you're just going, wow, there's more to life than the type of things that I have been eating. It's one of the reasons why I will never completely shop for food online. Because if you just see it on a picture, you go, well, I guess you can order your canned goods, you can order your Philadelphia cream cheese online, but to really get excited about the food, because I want to get in there, I don't want to examine them, and I want to get a sense of what am I going to eat. And then you go, I have shopped and now I can have a very good meal that I'm excited about. And another thing about going to the supermarket, and you should do it, and we do it on the last day or so before we head back to the United States. We go to a supermarket so we can load up on certain items that you cannot get in America. My girlfriend's like dip mixes and remoulades and mustards, and she likes dressings of sorts. I don't know, she's got a better sense of it, but she lets me try them, and I always go, well, that's really good, and I'm glad you're doing it. I mean, for example, one year she came back with this trove. You might think that's a lot, but that's not a lot because you eat every day, 3 times a day. And she likes to have a taste of Denmark once or twice a week. So that's on the list. So when we go there, we're going to bring back a little bit of Danish taste for my taste buds so it can survive. And remember, what a good time it's had and will have in Denmark. Thank you kindly.